Yeah, they're looking for something new.
Yeah.
They're looking to participate in this because there is a sense of, okay, we're in a new chapter globally. So how do I participate in this? Which is something I think thematically we're going to look at, because I'm just exploring. It's like, trying to figure out, it's very strange to be 55, know who I am on every level, as professionally, as a wife, as a daughter, as a mother, as a woman. Um, I have no mysteries of around anymore to develop or explore in terms of myself, a sense of self. It doesn't mean I want to stop learning about myself,
Right.
but you get to a point. I did, in just you being on the earth so long. It's like I'm glad I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable here. I got to tell you, I don't know how to be a citizen. I mean, I know some things, but a lot of that is totally upended for me. Like, where is this going? How do I be? If I want to resist, how do I resist? What's going to work? A lot of this stuff did not work. It did not work. In fact, it had the opposite effect of hardening the forces and coalescing the forces of which I felt like I needed to stand up and have a voice against, which was the voice of corruption. I just feel like there's more corruption, or was it just so big that, my little and other people, it's just this wave that's taking over us, right? And there's nothing we can do. I don't want to live there either, in a sense of helplessness.
I
So
think some of it is,
having that all be new is cool and exciting in many ways, but also it's just there's no answer. I've got no answers.
well, I
I've
would
got
say
no
history,
ideas even.
I would say history serves a lesson in this. I think two things need to happen that has not happened. And this is just from my perspective. On the other side is that, not the other side of the political spectrum, but just generationally, I think two things that were missing here that kept getting pushed out. The call is coming from inside the House. Democrats and liberals within need to address things in their House. There's a lot of division amongst each other. Like, it's so funny how we can hear the Bidens of the world, the Obamas of the world talk about coming to speaking across the aisle, but we need to speak within our own aisle, within
Mm.
our own chambers. It's so interesting that there are Democrats who are more engaged to talking to Republicans than talking to other progressives and others within their party. That they will be more trying to jockey for the approval and the popularity. Like, we were so interested in engaging Liz Cheney than we were the squad. That we were uncomfortable within each other, even though we were on the same team, we weren't willing to engage and talk amongst each other on issues that we may have differences in, but we could have talked. And I saw a lot of political division around Gaza, different stances around that. I saw people within what we consider liberals weaponizing far right mechanisms to harm other Democrats based on how they interpreted their stances on Gaza. And I think that there were other, and I think that created a lot of distrust. I think that created a lot of people that did some self-sabotaging things to each other and to the party. I think that's how you get people talking about resist the vote. And that wasn't towards Trump, but to someone else. And it was a lot of miscommunication, but no one was willing to sit down. And the leaders that should have known better, that's done this long enough, should have set the example. And I think they didn't. And so I think a younger generation of voters and people who were with us lost us because they didn't understand, like, how to explain humanitarian issues, how to have a different conversation about what the Biden administration is doing, how to protect those individuals and say, listen, these are still our family members. We might be disagreeing on the way to go about this, but let's not villainize them. Let's not exclude them. It was so much backbiting and infighting within the Democratic movement that created some strong rifts that turned some people off, and they have to go back and have to fix those relationships and mend them. This is a time for us to come in and work amongst each other and heal within. We keep trying to scare people away from our own internal problems. It's almost like a deflection. It's like, okay, there's a fight here within the Democratic Party that we're not addressing, but we keep saying these other people on the other side, we don't have time for that. Well, it looks like we do have time for that now, because it's not like Democrats are winning or doing anything. So what do you do in this time? Stop worrying about them. The other side. I mean, you're going to do what you can do, but at the end of the day, if you feel hopeless on that, what we can do is come back to the table amongst each other, build each other up, listen to each other, have uncomfortable conversations, strengthen our unity so that we can all come back on one accord and take this group on during the midterms and the primaries. But you can't do that if you keep neglecting and turning around unresolved issues. There's been clearly an unresolved fraction within the party around Bernie. Those people have continued that fragment of our movement. There are still people who have not gotten over what went down with Bernie and Hillary, even though whatever, right? There's people who still have not gotten over certain things that's happened. And I think this is the time for us to sit down, just listen. Because we do it, we were willing to do it with Trumpers, right? We keep hearing common ground. Listen to the other side. I feel like it's easier to do that with people that at least agree that we all deserve equal rights.
Yeah.
I would rather do that with people that are not racist and white supremacists.
Yeah.
And I think we should do that more. Like at least sit down and talk amongst each other and bridge these cross-generational divides, bridge some of these regional divides, because there's a lot of that going on amongst the party, and really listen to each other, figure out how we can find common ground within, and then come back with a better plan that's more universal. We talk about taking compromise with the far right, but we as liberals and progressives in this space, we need to figure out how to find compromise on some of the things that we also are pushing back.